Okay, so
You're back on.
There we go.
There we go. Ray's back.
So just not too long ago, one of the biggest anti-immigrant raids by the Trump administration occurred in Southern California, the biggest one to date. It was absolutely massive and huge. Over 360 people, allegedly undocumented migrant workers, were arrested at 2 different marijuana grow facilities in Southern California. All right, so after, ICE had been hitting L.A. particularly hard, they've been kind of targeting California going on for a little while now. But recently, ICE gathered at 2 different facilities run by Glass House Farms. They were in Camarillo and Carpinteria, California, both just a little north of L.A., and they conducted simultaneous raids on both these locations, right? So it was a big, huge operation. They rounded up hundreds of workers. But this thing turned into an absolute nightmare. It was an entire friggin' mess. So first of all, there's a whole bunch of things that happened. First of all, this came right after a California district court kind of went to the government and said, hey, these raids are violating the 4th and 5th Amendments, and you guys are abandoning all due process. You got to stop. So there was already a precedent saying, hey, this shouldn't be going on. Whether or not you agree with it, that had happened. When it actually happened, ICE agents came in, they arrested all these people. They found 14 migrant children who were under 14 years old, kids, working on this farm. That they said they allegedly rescued from child labor and human trafficking. Now, I got thoughts about that. These were migrants traveling with their families. These guys were not being trafficked. That's a dangerous situation, but it's a whole debate. Was it right? Was it wrong? We can talk about it. One guy died in this raid. He fell from over 30 feet running from the ICE officers, hit his head, died in the hospital. Over 500 protesters gathered to protest this whole thing while it was going on.
That's where it got out of hand.
It started getting really out of hand. They were not letting the ICE vehicles move. They were standing in front of them.
Throwing rocks.
They were throwing rocks there. Allegedly, it was relatively peaceful until, again, allegedly, ICE started firing rubber bullets into the crowd, tear gas, trying to disperse them. At least 4 people were arrested, including a University of California professor, after all this was going on, and they're still trying to get him out. Apparently, there's a $50,000 reward for somebody who might or might not have fired a pistol during the protest. They're saying it was at the officers. We don't know. They're still looking for him. And out of everybody arrested, only 4 of the 360 migrants actually had a criminal record. Now, some of these 4 guys, they had a pretty nasty one. It was, rape, trafficking, and, it was not great stuff. But only 4 of them actually had a criminal record, which kind of sounds to me like a coincidence, like they weren't actually looking for criminals there. They were just scooping people up, and they just happened to find a few. So it's, good or bad. The United Farm Workers Union says there's still a couple U.S. citizens that were caught up in the raid that are not accounted for. They still don't know where they are.
Wow.
So that's intense. Then there's reports going on that the people who have been detained, they're not releasing them until they sign forced deportation documents saying you will be deported. I am going to be deported. You're not going to fight it. And they have to delete all the evidence of any of the raid, any photos, any pictures they took. They have to immediately delete it from their phones. So there's you could take a lot of different sides with a lot of different things here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting story. That they went to like a big cannabis farms, that's
right. It's so first of all, cannabis farms using undocumented migrant workers. How do we feel about that? I mean, the agricultural community does this a lot. We know that. The farmers in Minnesota and Iowa, they've been saying, hey, we're losing our workers. We use these guys. You can't arrest them all. And Trump has been working with them. So how do we feel about undocumented workers working in cannabis?
Well, this is how I feel about that. It has a big effect on a lot of different people, right?
Yeah.
You have the farmers who need the workers. I believe that, listen, not there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. If you're illegal here, right, you're illegal. Okay, that's the issue. But if you're here and you're providing a service and for these people, these farmers are going to suffer without them. Nobody else wants to do the job. I think it's time to maybe take a look at it and say, hey, this sector is needed. Let's these people become citizens, and help the workforce.
Let's make a legal pathway.
Make a legal pathway for that.
What do you guys think?
What do you think, Ray?
Well, I mean, I think if we were to find different types of labor on cannabis farms, I don't think that would be such a shock because we know in that sector there are different levels of citizenship in those types of fields. So I don't think it's a shock that, cannabis farms, that has no undocumented workers, especially in California that has a higher population. I just, it's not a shock.
It's still
Not a shock at
agriculture,
all.
Obviously just because that's just the sector that is one of the sectors undocumented workers.
And that's
happen to
farms
be.
in general, not just
That's what I'm
cannabis
saying.
farms.
Just the
across the
agriculture
country,
sector
yeah.
in general. So
Yeah.
it's not a shock that would be the
Not
case,
at
or
all.
that it might be targeted
Not
either
at
way.
all.
So what do you think what was the powder keg in the whole thing? What set it off? The
What-
protesters coming?
Kind of what made it all crazy?
Yeah.
I think it launched off once the protesters got there,
Yeah.
and that immediately, because both sides are ready to fight. The second they see each other, they're ready to go
It's
after
really
each
not
other.
even so much about cannabis as it is about what's going on in the overall
100%.
picture of things.
I think so. I kind of disagree that it. So this is not the first raid. These raids are going on. So
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
There's a big pushback and a lot of outrage of how these things are going on. Yes, if you want to do it legally. Do it the proper way. There's no due process for these people. They just explain there. They get rid of your evidence. Can't say anything. You make you sign off. So the problem is how they're going about it. They're creating. So I go by the mantra of don't start, no one won't be none. So it's all started with the illegal. If you're going to go out there and target them, do it legally. Okay, so why are the people coming out and protesting? Because they see the law enforcement coming in the community illegally.
No.
And
they're not doing it.
coming in and doing their job illegally and not explaining anything, coming in with masks, coming in, and they're coming in very aggressively. I mean, they're going about it.
They come in
a
mass
wrong way.
because they're trying. They get personally attacked. People go figure out who they are, and then they go after their families and shit.
Yeah, well,
So
that's
you know
definitely true.
they're just doing their fucking job. They're getting paid
but they're
for
not
a
going through
fucking
due
job.
process. Do it, but do it right.
Well,
Right? Do it legally. If you're talking
What's not
about
legal about
why go after illegals if you're illegal? Let's be right. You can't say somebody wrong and you right. And
you're saying
wrong
ICE
too.
agents are illegal?
They're wrong. They're not doing the job properly. They're
How do
they're
you do
allowed
it
to go-
properly?
Due process.
Well, you think
Due process.
Well, it's-
do your job, but let the people have due process.
they get due process after they get taken in?
Well, see,
no,
that's,
they don't.
That's
No,
the
see,
argument.
that's the lie.
What
They do not.
So I think
They
they
do
have
not.
the law on their side. Like
you
they're-
don't know that they don't, and I don't know that they do. So that's the reality.
No. If
This
you're
is why this
listening,
is a hot topic.
if you're listening to what's going on out there, you can read all of this stuff. They're
Oh,
not
so
getting due process.
You the only one that can read?
Well, apparently I'm reading. It's out there.
Yeah, right.
That might be the case.
Yeah, whatever.
Or I'm reading. I'm not ignoring what's out there.
But yes, it's a hot one. It's a hot one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's.
I don't have that video, by
Well,
the way.
you
I
see,
thought
you
I
see
did.
right now
Yeah.
there are a lot of times a lot of protesters coming out there, and they're blocking the
They're blocking
federal-
the trucks.
trucks because they're coming in. They're not coming in right. So the community's like, hold up, we're not having this.
The community doesn't like it because they're just scooping everybody up, and I think they are missing due process. But the law is on their side. These are illegal immigrants, technically.
Yes.
So there is the law in place that allows them to take
But
action.
not all of them are illegal. They're doing this to people that are legal.
This is very true, and that's an issue. That's part of the due process problem.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
So they're blanket just scooping people up, and in order, I think it's to show that they're doing something. But again, it's very, you get a lot of sides to it. There's a lot of ways to argue it, which is an issue.
Well, the thing is, just if you're going to do it right.
Do
Do
right.
it legally. And there's a lot of problems and issues out there with that.
Right.
And so I think that's the major issue.
I think
there.
one of the stickiest parts of this is the kids.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So these are migrant children. Is this there? I believe they're not. They didn't rescue them. They were. I don't think they were they may, I don't know, but I don't think they were in danger of being human tracked. I think they were traveling with their families.
See, this is what the problem is. All the lies on this is purposely put out there. They know it's not true.
They're
not all the illegals. They're not all criminals. They're not all rapists. They're not all that. Come on, that's scare tactics, which has been going on for
Whenever
thousands
you say
of years.
all
On that
everything,
side.
it's not true.
No,
Whenever
but you can't. You just they up there like, they're rapists and this and that. Come on, they're numbered like you said. 4 of them out of 300 something.
Right,
It's
right.
no worse than us Americans.
Except you didn't walk across some strange country's border without permission. You wouldn't do that.
Well, your family is not in danger of being killed. So I guess you wouldn't do nothing to keep your family alive. These people
But the
out here
country
just trying to
also
live.
has created
Some
a
people are
system.
just trying to live.
But dude, if you like a lot of these people that interviewed, they're here to make money.
Right, they're here to make money, have a living for their families.
But they're not all running for their fucking lives. Some of them are. Some of them aren't.
They're here for a better life.
Okay.
Right.
But I know people who come from other countries that want a better life, but they didn't do it the same way that these guys did it. So
what's the same way?
well, they waited years and they had to fill out paperwork and they had to go take tests and they had to go do this
But
other
these
shit.
guys aren't doing
A lot of those
labor.
people do that too.
I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah, so
but a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
But we've also built a system
That's
where we
called
depend on them.
undocumented. That's what undocumented means.
Well, why are they only targeting this one segment where there are a lot of undocumented people from other countries in large numbers
segment
in
being
areas?
weed?
China.
No, people other than the Hispanics. So this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of illegals here
Well,
that are from other countries. They're not even looking for them.
Yes, they are.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing here.
They're
None
shipping,
of that.
they're shipping Chinese people out. I
Show,
know that.
Let me see
Not
it
the
on the
same
news.
numbers,
We got a million
Not at
articles.
the same numbers, but they didn't
Yeah.
come at the same numbers.
Okay, so
True,
on the
true.
next show, let's talk about it. Let's see
About what?
let's see all the other people they're going after. Let's see the articles and the towns where they're doing it at.
A deep dive, huh?
Yep. No, it's going to have to be a real deep dive because I ain't seen nothing.
Okay, well,
But it'll be very since you stated they're doing it right.
we'll start
Let's-
diving.
Let's
start,
see it.
Start diving.
Let's see
okay,
it.
start diving and get this shit, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
it.
Well, you made the statement.
Okay, well,
So let's see it.
But you got the researcher's ability, so
Well, what do
I
you think? What
already
do you think
know.
about the kids, though? What do you do?
We
do you
have
think
a
it's
Well, I
okay?
hate to see families broken up, but that is part of the risk when you come over as a legal family. That's part of
that's
the
the
risk.
smartest thing you said all night.
Well, it's a fact. I just talk fast. There's a humane time.
Getting hot.
when you're
it's getting
straight.
hot in the
Yeah,
studio.
well,
It's all good.
It's
Yeah.
all about people and people first.
Yes.
Not property.
I agree with that.
or just money. People are people.
Do you think the Grove House is responsible for employing a minor, or do you think that's kind of incidental?
I think the grow house is responsible for hiring everybody that's in there, and if they have illegal hiring, then they should be responsible
This
for
is
doing
true.
that.
You're
Well, what about
responsible
dairy
for your
farmers?
company. Yes.
I mean, come on, you're hiring kids to do your fucking work. It's
Well,
pathetic.
I think he hired you.
Well-
You hired a family. You have 50 people, and my family. I come with my kid, and I say, please let him work. The family wants the kid to work because the family needs the kid
It's
to work.
not abuse, but it's just illegal.
That's
Because that's their culture. They go at home, they're doing that, and it's not illegal. So they don't. Look, these people
yeah,
don't
but
have
you act,
anything.
but you act like it's just them working on their family farm. It's not them working on their
No,
family
I didn't
farm.
say
That's
that.
the
I
other
didn't say
thing.
that
It's
at
not
all.
them
They're
doing that.
coming here for a better life. They can't make any money. It's bad where they live at. They just want a better life for them and their kids. I mean, that's why a lot of people come here.
And then
they come here. They come
they
here
go
for
back.
opportunity.
Yeah, and then they send the money back home. So like a lot
Right.
of that money doesn't even stay in our own economy.
But I'm just saying the reason why they're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it for nothing. They're doing it to survive.
Yeah.
It's
I
bad
get
for
it.
these people in
I
other
get
countries.
it. I get it.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
But you got to have rules, man, or you don't have a country.
I agree with that.
Okay, so
I agree with that.
So for many days, for more than 1 year, people just fucking walked across the border like it was not there.
Right.
So now what? And then now we've got documented crime as it relates to some of these people who walked across the border, and there's people's like families have been fucking torn up over it. The fact is they shouldn't be here. So like whatever they did while they were here wouldn't happen if they weren't here.
I agree with that.
Okay.
But the country
That's all I'm
demands
saying.
that
But
they
that
are
doesn't
here.
hold the authorities back from doing their job correctly and legally. That's all.
I think this is a hammer coming down on a group of people that we encourage to come here. because we
Yes.
need that labor to come here.
do.
The farms are,
So what do we do about
all
it?
hurt over it.
You reform your immigration laws.
That's what I think needs to happen, 100%.
That's what you do.
There
You
needs to be a
reform
pathway for
your
that to happen.
immigration laws, and I mean, you're going to have to do something for the people that are already here. So some sort of path to legal
Well, they don't
I
want to
agree
do
with
that.
that.
citizenship.
I agree with
They're
that.
trying not to. They're doing everything not to do that.
Well,
This administration is going. That's
I think
their-
there's plenty of good people that walked across this border.
Of
and
course.
I think you have to accommodate for that too. But at the
That's-
same
of
time,
course.
listen, you know, people voted for Trump because they didn't like what was going on the border,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't like what was going on in their communities, and they didn't like the fact that money's getting diverted out of their hands into hands of people that shouldn't even be here. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're in a community and your services get cut and that money gets diverted to people who shouldn't be here, should you be mad or not mad?
I don't know if it's being diverted. I don't necessarily agree with
Well,
that.
they're not making new money.
Well, they weren't made. They weren't going to get that money anyway.
They're taking,
Right.
they're
It's-
taking,
Because
Yeah.
that money was going toward labor, and
and you make a good point. Maybe
Right,
they weren't
right.
going to get
It's
that money
already
anyway.
budgeted.
But
Yeah.
services have been cut in certain communities that are under strain. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but a lot of that exaggerated too. But you say that, but look at a lot of the tax dollars they're making to compensate for that, and just providing a service for these people that business would suffer without these workers.
Well, yeah, they'd be
So
making,
there's a
well,
lot
assuming,
of plus.
yeah, but you're assuming that they're payrolled and they're getting taxes taken out, and
I
that's
mean-
not the case.
there's not, I'm sure that's not the case for everybody,
From-
but there is a large portion that is being payrolled and taxed. So I mean, there
But to
is,
get on payroll, you have to have some level
Well,
of papers.
and that's
You
well,
can't
yeah,
be
but
undocumented to get on payroll.
I know
you can't-
guys-
A lot of them got fake.
Yeah, I know
documentation
guys
to
who
get
have
on
fake
payroll.
So it's
documentation.
fake.
Yeah, so you got
But
the
they're
real,
still
you got the
taxed.
unreal.
So they have the documentation
Yeah,
to
let's-
kind of make it fake.
You got
but
something to light up?
Yeah,
We've
you
gone
wanna-
this.
you
We've
wanna-
gone this whole fucking show with nothing.
you want to pack this little guy?
It's
but
getting, it's getting too serious.